What's up, guys? Wanted to do the pound for pound countdown, go to number 3 today. Like I said, this has been taking many months, this pound for pound countdown, but it's been fun. I think maybe I've left a little suspense there. I wanted to do this countdown because I changed the pound for pound equation. I made it so it factors in batting average. So essentially, it's the old pound for pound equation, and then you add the guy's average and divide by 2. So you get the average between his batting average and his pound for pound rating from before. Um, anyways, hope everyone had a good 4th of July and having a good summer so far. You guys are deep into your summer seasons now, so everyone knows how their swing is working. Anyways, let's get to the pound for pound countdown. And number 3, Mel Ott. So Mel Ott, I mean, if let's just look at his stats here. One of those guys who's really forgotten when it comes to one of the all-time greats. And obviously what's interesting about Ott is his weight. I mean, he was just a little guy and he was hitting all these home runs, hitting for high batting average. He hit just as many home runs, I believe, at away ballparks as he did home. So a lot of people say that it was his home field short right field fence that did it. Let's see if it says. I want to see if it says what. So the ballpark was the Polo Grounds 5. Let's get a. Let's see if we have the dimensions. Let's see. Just trying to get an idea of the dimensions out there in right field. It doesn't just give me a. Okay, here we go. So it looks like deep right center was really far. Right field line was 257. That's pretty crazy. It does make you wonder. I mean, how was he just. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I mean, it does leave a bit of an asterisk in your mind in terms of, like, was he really that kind of home run hitter? Because his stats are pretty insane for a 170-pound guy. 155 plus OPS plus for his career, which puts him in, definitely the top, something like 20 hitters of all time. There aren't too many guys above 155. Had maxed out at 38 homers. That same year, hit 318. His best year looks like 311 with 36 and 38. Let's see. That 318 with 38 might have been his best. Anyways, Consistently hit home runs. Also had a lot of walks, which really helped his OPS plus numbers. 304 lifetime batting average, so right around what Hank Aaron was. He's one of the guys, Aaron, Mel Ott, Babe Ruth, Ted Williams. Those guys show us that you don't have to sacrifice power for consistency. You can have them both. I mean, Ruth finished with what, 342 batting average? Ted Williams, 344. Willie Mays is another one above 300. Anyways, let's get to Ott's swing. Now, what everyone notices with his swing is this move, how he gets ready. To me, that's neither here nor there. If you want to do a move like this, that's great. It's not the quintessential piece of a great swing. As we get here, this is where we talk about the quintessential pieces of a great swing. It's how much that back arm does not overexert at this point, especially. There, he does a little bit less of the windup in that particular swing. I wonder if he went through stages where he did a little bit more and a little bit less in his career. But here you can see the beginnings of just a nice slotting action. He doesn't have a lot of lag in his hands. In other words, the bat is kind of facing 12-6 here instead of, say, I don't know, 10-4, something like that. And, it's something we see from Jackie Robinson, from Albert Bell, this kind of casted move with the hands, but then they get a lot of lead arm action into it, a lot of front humerus compression. This, I've said before, is a good simple change that you can make to your swing that'll produce pretty quick results in some people, which is just casting the bat out, not letting it get a lot of bat lag ever through the swing. Just leave it like this. Keeping your hands nice and loose. Try to just leave it out. And then you'll end up using a lot more of your body to hit the ball. Look at how compressed his lead arm is still at contact there. Here's a good look at the slotting action from behind here. That's the key move right there. Notice the back arm does not overexert. That's the key. It's basically following what the lead arm would do all by itself. And then he's able to get the body into it more. The more your back arm is exerting, especially at this point here, from here to here, the more it exerts, the less body you can get into the hit. The less body mass you can get into the hit, the less you're able to use your body to whip the bat. There's a good look at the slotting action there. Now, for a lot of you guys, you need to just take swings with just the lead arm and then just take swings with the back arm just hovering, but having no influence on the action, and still try to keep the same sort of lead arm action that you had with just one arm, if that makes sense. So you have to teach the back arm before you just put it on, because the back arm will want to overexert. If you've been doing it for thousands of swings, it really doesn't know how to follow. So a lot of you guys need to train it. This move right here, this is the key move, that those two frames. Let's see if I can get it from here to there, from here to there, here to there. That's really the key. I mean, right in there lies the secret to a great swing, those two little frames, because it sets you on course for either lead arm dominant sort of action as opposed to a back arm one. A lot of people will fire out. Like, that's actually a pretty stretched position for a back arm to get into. Most people can't really feel that right now. They need to spend a lot of time just teaching the back arm how to do this and not get in the way. It's really a shame that we don't take these older hitters seriously. I think in many they have a lot to teach us. Those of you who know read my books and stuff, you know that I feel like one of the big problems that we have in today's baseball culture is just not recognizing the gifts that these guys can give us. I mean, they played with extremely crude equipment. They had to, if they are going to make it to this level that, some of these greats are on, like Ruth and Ott and Fox and Williams and Aaron and, Willie Mays, like these guys have things to teach us. You don't just toss them because they weren't, playing a game that you're familiar with, basically. That's what it is people are kind of, their ego likes to just downplay things they don't know. And a lot of people don't understand the kind of game that they were playing back then. It's almost completely foreign because we don't relate to the game the same way we did back then. And people laugh at like, oh, all they did was play sandlot ball. Sandlot ball is the best way for a kid to develop. I mean, nowadays, we have kids basically performing every single time they step on a field. There's so many performances that are so important, seemingly important, and they don't have the chance to experiment and play like they did on the sandlots. And the play allows for creativity, and creativity allows for better movement in this case. Here you can see, again, great lead arm, lead side dominant action. Look at how the bat just drops here. That's because of a non-dominant back arm. For most of you guys, this feel that you see Ott in right here would feel like your back arm is doing something completely different. For him, it's following more of the lead side action more. Great hitters aren't going to be able to relay this feeling because they take it for granted. That's another problem with today's culture is we're looking to great hitters to explain what they do so well. That is laughable. Of course, they take their positions and their movements for granted. Again, another good look at the lead side dominant action. Here he's going out and adjusting and getting a pitch. But you can, again, see that kind of the back arm just kind of laying back and taking more of what the lead arm would do all on its own, taking that structure a little bit more. Look, I think that there's a spectrum, I think a lot of people are very much on the back arm dominant spectrum. They exert too much with the back arm. They're not utilizing as much of the lead side pathway as they should be. So what I'm kind of often misunderstood as saying is that you need to be all lead side, all lead arm. No, I think the main thing with swing mechanics is to simply go from, if you're 70% back arm and 30% lead side in your swing, to switch that around. Become 70% lead side and 30% back arm. So I'm not saying that the back arm should do nothing. It just, I slightly compare it to like the non-shooting hand in basketball. It's supporting the move for the most part. Do you have to shoot a basketball like that? No, you could use both hands together. And in the same way, a lot of guys are using both hands together in the baseball swing, even dominating more with the back arm. And they're still they're still able to perform. I just don't think it's the optimal way to do it. And I think that that particular thing touches on exactly what the key to swing mechanics is. It is about not letting the back arm overexert, taking more of a lead side dominant action. And to find out what that is, you just have to swing with just your lead arm, hit balls with just your lead arm. Check out the lead arm training bat at theswingmechanic.com. That's very helpful for getting more repetition, but also use your regular bat. I like that too because it makes you feel your body swing the bat, and it gives you a real indication of how you need to move when you're utilizing just your lead arm. So figure that out first and then add the back arm, and don't let it get in the way of this, especially at the point of redirection. Remember that move that Mookie Betts says with the back arm? That's what you want, but I don't like teaching it in that way, because when you teach the back arm a certain move, it gets on the bat and it just still wants to overtake. You're still kind of pushing out. You're thinking about it in terms of the back arm too much. And so you're going to push out a little bit and do what you've always been doing. So I like to look at it as let's utilize more of the lead side pathway and do that by swinging with just the lead arm. And then we'll basically, now we have that structure down. Now we just put the back arm on without messing up that structure as best we can. That's it. Am I looking at polo grounds? What's that mean? Am I looking at polo grounds? Huh. I'm not sure. What Sonny's talking about there. But so anyways, figure out what your lead side needs to do by swinging with just your lead arm. I don't think a lot of guys, what happens is I ask people to do this, and most of the time they just take swings like they kind of swing in a way that they're taught to do the lead arm. They're kind of exerting with the lead arm, and they don't really think. Like I need people to just think completely outside the box. How would you swing if you really had to supply the most power possible and be the most consistent? And a lot of you guys might just have to go to a park and just really get real with what's the action I would want to do. I personally don't do it like Mel Ott or Babe Ruth. I don't do more lead side that way. I do it more like Joe DiMaggio or someone who, like, I don't have a lot of movement before I go. Joe DiMaggio comes to mind. There are a lot more guys who don't have a lot of movement. Maybe someone like Albert Bell doesn't have a lot of movement. But however you need to do it, you need to figure out how you need to do it, though. And you do that by just swinging with just the lead arm. And I don't think that enough people are doing that with the intention of, let me almost pretend like I haven't played before. Just a clean slate. Let me get up here, just swing with just my lead arm, and let's see, what would I want to do if I really had to hit this ball hard? Swing with a regular size bat. Swing with a I like using a regular size bat. You could even use a slightly heavy one when you first start off, because you'll see what I'm talking about. If you really want to hit the ball hard, your front arm's going to have to catch a free ride for a little bit from your rotating torso. This is the move you have to move more towards. Why? I don't know. But this is why we see a majority of the great hitters and the majority of the great pound-for-pound hitters disproportionately guys who are dominant in their lead arm. That's why we see that, is because it just pays in baseball and in golf. It just pays to be more lead side. And that's a message that is hard to hear right now because in swing instruction, there's so much noise and there's so much being sold to you that basically says you need 10 different swing thoughts. We're going to have to tape together your swing with multiple swing thoughts. That's being diligent when it comes to swing mechanics. But that's not being diligent when it comes to swing mechanics. It's being stupid. It's just, that's not the best way to do it. If that were, then when you looked at the guys with the best swings, it would look like they are taping together their swing with multiple swing thoughts, but it never does. They always look actually more the opposite. That they must be doing one thing. They must be feeling one thing that most people are not feeling, and no more, and just doing that one thing and doing it smoothly. That's it. And I think that one thing is utilizing more lead side. Maybe we get a Jose Altuve analysis. He's a 17 homers, weighing 165. Yep, one of the pound for pound greats, Altuve. Prior to this year, where did I have Altuve? Let's see. .122 all time. Hits a home run every 31.85 at bats, has a 306 average. It seems like he should be higher, but I guess it's that at bats per home run. There have been guys. I mean, his batting average is real high. His at bats per home run, though, it's high. It's definitely high and very good. Very good. But when you look at like Eric Davis, he had 18.87 and he weighed the same thing. 18.87 at bats per home run. Oscar Gamble, Ben Ogilvy had 25.16 and he weighed 160, but he didn't have the batting average that Altuve has. So it just, once you're splitting hairs when you get to that level. I mean, Ogilvy was 29th all time. Oscar Gamble weighed 160 and hit a home run every 22.51 at bats. And then Mel Ott, the guy we just did, every 18.5 at bats, weighing 170. So weighed about the same thing as Altuve, but hit a home run almost twice as often and had the same batting average. But yeah, Altuve is an all-time great, pound for pound, all-time great. If you're in the top 200 all-time, you got something. Most likely, we should be looking pretty closely at your swing. Lead arm leads, back arm follows and supports. Yeah. Lead arm leads and back arm follows and supports. But, man, I don't do a great job at explaining this. But a lot of people, again, just take me as like, I just think you should be utilizing more lead side. It's not really that. It's a little different than that. It's that I think you should be finding your lead side structure. That's saying a different thing. Because just utilizing more of your lead side, I want you to find what your lead side wants to do. That's more accurate. And then the second thing we have to do is teach that back arm not to screw up that structure, especially at the transition when you start forward. That seems to be train tracks point where you can veer off onto a bad swing or a good swing. That transition is real important, that you allow the hands to drop and the bat to flatten. And basically that's what happens when you utilize just your lead arm. So you just have to make sure that you stay in that lead side structure. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Check out my website, theswingmechanic.com. Have my Swing Like Griffey book. Also have my golf swing book and my training aids. I appreciate you all of your support. And yeah, let me know if you guys have any suggestions, and I'll see you next time.